My name is Haruna Babatunde Jayoba. I'm currently connected with INHAT in IIUM. Inshallah, today I'm going to discuss about this research that we have conducted. And before I move on, I need to appreciate the IIIT for giving us this grant. So the title of my discussion today is to explore the implications of Maqasid Shari'ah for halal business sustainability practices. And as you're aware, the sustainability practices has become something very, very important these days. And even though this issue is very important, we still see a lot of businesses rely on profitability only. So the purpose of this research actually is to find out from Sharia scholars, as well as, of course, the consumers, as regard to what is the implication of Maqasid Shari'ah to halal business sustainability practices. And of course, we collected the qualitative data from the Sharia scholars. And to them, we just want to know from Sharia perspective what they need to do actually. Besides this, we also collect data from consumers as regard to how they see this issue of sustainability, whether it's something that is actually going to influence their decisions in terms of buying and, of course, interacting with their businesses. So that is just the background of this research. And this is just the flow of the discussion. Of course, I'm going to just say brief about the introduction to this research, talk about the issues that actually warrant the discussion of this research or the conducted of this research, the objective, the research questions. Of course, I'm not going to speak more on research questions. Then, of course, I'm just going to mention some of the things that we did under literature review, discuss a bit about the methodology, and of course, the analysis and conclusion. And as I've mentioned today, businesses, cannot do without sustainability. It has become something that is very, very important. Researchers have conducted research and they find out that this issue of sustainability is so much important today. Rather than businesses focusing on profit at all times, trying to make profit to improve their performance, they have got to also focus more on the other two parts, which is, of course, social sustainability as well as environmental sustainability. And because the objective of Sharia is to serve the interest of human being in this world, and of course, to help us in hereafter. So it's become fundamental to halal businesses, especially to focus more on this issue of sustainability, because when we're talking about the sustainability of environment, which has to do with minimizing your negative impacts on environment and also trying to contribute in a positive way to the environment, that has become something very important. And at the same time, giving back to the society in terms of your relationship with the society, as well as, of course, giving in the form of maybe monetary terms like scholarship and, of course, zakat and sadaqah, has also become something of very important today. So the issue that warrant this research is we're saying that when you look at most of the businesses, they actually focus more on profit. They want to maximize the profit. And of course, that is the notion. When you have your profit, you actually want to maximize profit for the shareholders or the owners of the business. But the discussion today has to go beyond this. They have to also focus not just on business, not just on profit. They have got to focus more on the environment as well as, of course, social. Because if they fail to do that, we have seen a lot of businesses that failed during the COVID as a result of what people feel about those businesses. Some people say, oh, this business is not very good because they have been, of course, trying to exploit us, before the COVID. And of course, the COVID gives consumers opportunity to retaliate, from these businesses. So today, it has actually become something very, very important. And this is just the objective that actually guides this research. Of course, the first one is to speak to the to the importance of this research, the main aspect of this research, which is the implications of Maqasid Shari'ah to sustainability practices of halal businesses. And at the same time, we also want to see the views of Sharia scholars. Of course, we are going to ask them, the first one is to ask Sharia scholars what the Sharia actually say with respect to practices this issue. But beyond that, we also need to also interrogate the Sharia scholars to give their views on this issue as well. And the third one is to see what actually is the benefit from also Sharia scholars' perspective. What do they see is going to be benefit for businesses that actually practices these sustainability issues? And beyond that, we also want to see how this issue actually influence the purchasing decisions of consumers. And that's the fourth one. And the final one is to actually see the, the corporate social responsibility, which is also a very important aspect of sustainability practices. Whether that actually promotes the, purchasing decisions of consumers. So, of course, for the literature review, I'm not going to come here to come and discuss in detail about the literature review that we have conducted. But at the same time, I need to let you know, of course, some of the issues that we did or some of the things that we did under the literature review. So under our literature review, of course, we discussed the objective of Sharia. And at the end of our discussion there, we try to relate why halal businesses must practice or must actually subscribe to sustainability practices. And beside that, we also discussed the sustainability practices from Islamic perspective. Here we look into Quran and Hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as well as, of course, relevant discussion or textbooks that have been out there. And beyond that, we also discuss the theory that actually underpin this research. And the theory underpinning this research is actually the corporate sustainability theory. And this theory actually suggests that for businesses to be sustainable these days, they have to practice or they have to subscribe to these sustainability practices in a holistic way. That is, they have to do everything together. And at the same time, we also look into the integrated business sustainability practices based on triple bottom line. Of course, we have seen that triple bottom line, which also focus on profit, focus on people, as well as, of course, the planet. It's also the same as sustainability practices, which also focus on economics, social, and environment. So we try to discuss this issue together and bring out the issue why businesses must actually practice the comprehensive approach of sustainability. And the final one, we review the literature on of course, the influence of sustainability practices on business sustainability itself. Whether when businesses actually practice this issue, whether it's going to influence their sustainability, their long-term performance. And this is the framework for the quantitative part, because of course this research adopted mixed method. So with that, of course, we have to balance it up to come up with a conceptual framework that actually guides this research. And as you can see here, we have 4 independent variables and we have 1 dependent variable. And what this is actually saying in the, to summarize, is that we're saying that, of course, when businesses practice this in a holistic way, it's going to increase or is going to contribute to their sustainability, which is their long-term performance itself. And based on this, of course, we have environmental sustainability practices, we have social sustainability practices, we have corporate philanthropic practices, and we have economic sustainability practices. And to us, we think that, of course, when businesses actually put all this in practice, is going to help them to remain sustainable in terms of their financial performance and long-term performance as well. So under the methodology, this is actually what we did. Of course, this research adopts mixed method research design. And because, of course, we are going to see the 2 aspects of things from Sharia scholars as well as halal consumers. And based on this, we developed the open-ended semi-structured interview questions, as well as, of course, the survey questionnaire is not mentioned here. So we use that as, the instrument. And beyond this, we also collect our data from 10 Sharia scholars, and we collect the quantitative data from 302, which is 302 halal consumers in Klang Valley, Malaysia. And of course, to analyze the qualitative part, our research actually focused on the thematic. We use thematic analysis to analyze the qualitative part. And for the quantitative, we actually also use SPSS as well as AMOS to see whether these sustainability practices actually contribute to the sustainability of businesses itself. And this is the qualitative analysis. And of course, it's going to be boring, reading all this. But to just summarize, after interviewing the Sharia scholars, we arrive at 4 themes. And of course, the first one is the implication of Maqasid Shari'ah for holistic sustainability practices. And of course, for here, when we ask the Sharia scholars, all of them actually agree that when you look at Quran, for example, or you look at the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you see that there are a lot of places that actually justify the practices of this in a holistic way. That is, businesses are not supposed to, focus only on profit. They have to also focus on the environment as well as social and of course philanthropic. And the second theme is Sharia scholars' views about this particular issue itself. And all of them have given their own perspective to this. And at the end of the day, we also discovered that all of them believe that this issue is so much important based on their own opinion. And at the same time, we also asked them about of course, the benefit of this. And all of them also agreed, of course, this is going to benefit them more. And the final one is, the theme of the final one is the appropriateness of communicating sustainability practices, because, we have seen some people argue that, for businesses, when you do good, you are not supposed to actually tell people what kind of good that you're doing. So, but all of them also agree that if they don't say it, how are we going to know? So businesses have to also justify by making their practices, known to the people. And for the quantitative part, which is, of course, the second part of the analysis we did, we asked, 302 consumers. Of course, we collected more than that, but we have to discard, about 95 questionnaire, because all of them mentioned that they are not familiar with either Sharia, objective of Sharia, or maybe they are not familiar with sustainability practices. So because of that, we discarded about 95 questionnaire. But of course, we have left 302 questionnaire, and we asked them these questions. For example, we say being an eco-friendly business is consistent with objective of Sharia. And all of them, of course, majority of them, about 280 out of 302 consumers actually agree that being an eco-friendly is consistent with, of course, objective of Sharia. And the second question is engaging in halal business activities and implementing excellent strategy is consistent with objective of Sharia. And of course, about 249 also agree that this is actually very important. This is consistent with objective of Sharia. And the third one is engaging in community engagement or giving back in the form of zakat and sadaqah is consistent. Of course, that is also consistent. And having good relation with stakeholders by respecting their views, as well as, of course, the right, labor right, and so on and so forth. And almost all of them, majority of them, of course, 257 also agree that this is actually consistent with Sharia objective. And of course, the final one is whether they also believe the ultimate goal of businesses is to help in fulfilling human needs. And of course, majority of them, about 257, also agree. So this also justifies from consumer perspective that this issue is actually consistent. Talking about sustainability practices is consistent with objective of Sharia. And of course, we also perform different analysis. I cannot bring everything here. But some of the analysis we performed, of course, we conducted exploratory factor analysis, we conducted reliability analysis, and we conducted, a confirmatory factor analysis. Okay, it's not here. But of course, finally, we conducted the structural equation modeling analysis. And this is the findings that we got. I think this is not going to be clear to most of us, but I think this one can actually summarize our findings. You can see here for the relationship or whether environmental sustainability practices contribute to business sustainability. We actually got, significant and positive relationship, meaning that for businesses that practice or that subscribe to this issue of environmental protection is going to actually contribute to their long-term performance. And the second one is corporate philanthropic practices. Also the same, we got positive and significant answer that also contributes to business sustainability and their long-term performance. And the third one is social sustainability practices, which is also positive and significant. This also shows that also contributes to long-term performance of businesses. And final one is economic sustainability practices in terms of business strategies, actually. And this one also, we got, very good result that, of course, this is also positive and significant, suggesting that businesses must actually contribute or must practice all these from the consumer perspective, because failure to do that is going to actually backfire on them, because consumer may actually, at the end of the day, boycott such business, or maybe they have to, look for alternative. So the implication of this research, to summarize, is actually, we mentioned that ever than before, environmental, social, and philanthropic practices are crucial for halal business sustainability. And of course, when we're talking about halal business sustainability, we're essentially referring to the performance, long-term performance and long-term, existence or continuity of the business. So meaning that this has become, something of great importance, and halal business must also, take all these issues so seriously. Therefore, taking an integrated approach to sustainability practices that translates, of course, economic, environmental, as well as social concern into corporate or company strategies has become a must, for businesses these days, especially if halal businesses want to be sustainable. And of course, this research, has been successful, alhamdulillah, because this is the end of this. But I think I still have about, a few minutes. So I can say that this research has been successful, and I need to say thank you to IIIT. Why I say this research has been successful is because for now, the student has, let me say graduated, because she's just waiting for the, changing of status from thesis examine to graduated. So I can say that this research is successful in this regard. And besides, we have also published, one paper in Scopus, and the final one, of course, another student is about to also go for proposal defense. So meaning that, of course, even though this is very small grant, but it has been successful because we have various outputs to prove that this research has been successful. And of course, here we are today also saying the outcome or output of this research. So thank you so much. I think this is where I need to end my discussion. Assalamu alaikum.